Welcome to another episode of Listen to Us Rant About Movies. My name is Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
And today we have a very special episode. I've been waiting to do this episode for a while. And it's coming out a little later than what we had hoped. However, it's going to be worth it because we got a lot to talk about. It's going to be good. For those who have not listened to us before, we're a movie review podcast. We rant about movies and we drink while we do it. And we always try and find a beer to pair with whatever our review is. And for this week, we chose Delirium Red.
Old Delirium Red.
Little Delirium. There's red in the title. It's the best we could do. I'm sorry.
That's about it.
About it.
Standing bewildered at the liquor store like, there's nothing. There's nothing that matches.
Nothing named Justice. Nothing super. Anything.
Bruce. Bat beer. Bat beer? No. Damn it.
Nothing. So we'll be doing that. And I'm sure it'll be tasty either way. And then after that, we're going to talk about, after we try it, we're going to talk about what we've been watching since our last episode. With some very good discussions with that. And then we're going to dive into our review of Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Batty v. Soups, D.A.J.
Batty v. Soup, new title.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a non-spoiler review first, and then we'll dive into spoilers for those who have seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers. Because it's coming out a little later, you probably already know anyway. So, That's the plan. So, Zachary Harris, let's try this beer.
Let's get a little sip going.
Let's get a little sip.
It is not what I expected at all.
That's literally not what I expected either.
Yeah. I was assuming like a red, like an Irish red style, something like that, you know?
Yeah, like Irish red ale, yeah.
But this is like red wine ale.
It's fruity, yeah. It's like it's almost like a lambic. It tastes like a lambic, almost like a fruity wine beer.
Yeah, like smelling the bottle. Like when I took my first whiff of it, when I poured it, I was like, it smells like wine. This is interesting.
Smells like wine.
They messed up, guys. You put wine in here.
Wrong bottle. What the hell?
Man, I bought this beer yesterday. There was a big mix-up. No, but this is really good though. I like it. It's interesting.
Yeah. That aside, I actually do like it. It's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
That's for sure.
Yeah, Delirium Red. I had never seen this before, but it's apparently from Belgium, or it's a Belgian ale. Might be a big difference there, but it was established in 1654.
This is pretty crazy. Since 1654.
And it looks like the bottle looks like it's from 1654. It's like
it's a nice bottle.
It's like old and
it's like speckled, sort of.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's interesting.
I've had like their, I don't know what it's called, but like their main one, the like bright blue elephant. Yeah,
they have the only one I saw at the store was called like Delirium Hypnotica or something like that, or something like that.
Yeah,
or Continuum or something weird. Was that the one you had?
I think so. I remember it being very tasty, but it is a pricier beer, so I just never had never gone back to it, you know. So this one kind of called out at me a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
it was red. It fit. So
it fit. It fit.
Just it's a stretch, but just enough.
I will still enjoy it
for sure.
So Zach, what you been watching, man, since our last cast?
Let's see. Let me pull out my list here. I've watched quite a few movies. Most recently, I saw River of Grass, which is the first Kelly Reichardt, I don't know how to pronounce her name, movie, who did Meek's Cut Off and Wendy and Lucy and Old Joy. And I really enjoyed it a lot. It was really good.
Okay.
I guess they just did a new restoration of it, and it was playing at this Theater Facets in Chicago. So We went and saw it. It was great. It was kind of like a Lovers on the Run sort of crime thing, you know, but very reserved. Good acting. It was a first movie, and like you feel it, but not in a bad way. It was interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Liked it a lot.
Cool. So it's like a kind of like a lover's road movie, kind of like it reminds me of, I'm blanking right now, but it reminds me of guy who did Tree of Life.
Yeah,
Malick.
Badlands.
Yeah, it reminds me of Badlands. The way you describe it.
Definitely. In a way, it's a lot like Badlands, but it also feels like a I don't know. It definitely sort of plays with the formula of that sort of movie, especially in the end. But yeah, really nice, really good cinematography, and really good blocking. Mainly, just the way the people occupy the frames is really great, and yeah, really funny, real good. Great editing, great cinematography, great acting. Very good.
When did that come out?
I'm not sure. Let's find out.
It's older though, for sure.
Yeah. It was her first movie. She's done like 4 or 5 at this point.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
It was 94.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So that is called what again?
River of Grass.
River of Grass. Okay, cool. So I finally watched Magic Mike.
Oh yeah, the first one?
The first one.
You just didn't jump in with Double XL?
I want to eventually.
No, I know.
I want to. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I almost did a double feature, but then I ran out of time.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, man.
It's good, right?
It's super good.
It's a good movie. Magic Mike's great.
Like, I didn't expect it to be that great, and I heard so many good things, and I was like, all right, I'll watch it. I will watch this stripper film.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly good. Like, super good. I really liked it a lot. I'm kind of curious about, I don't want to spoil anything, but like with Magic Mike XXL, how kind of, with the ending of Magic Mike, how that leads into XXL.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. But
it's, the transition is very much like all right, let's just explain how they got to this point. Now this is like its own movie, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
With like the same characters. But yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Like, I love Channing Tatum even more now.
Yeah, he's awesome in that movie.
He's so good.
Matthew McConaughey's really good.
Yeah, it's just a really good, it's like a funny, but like very entertaining, just like good, I don't know. It's like the material itself on the surface is like not quite fitting to what the actual structure of the film is.
Totally.
But it works, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I love the way that they shoot the stripping sequences in it too.
Yeah, it's
lots of like really nice wide shots that are just like symmetrically pulling out, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, great director.
Oh yeah.
So.
Old Stevie.
Yep.
Old sturdy Stevie. Just being a champ.
Being a champ still. So
yeah.
Yeah, so that was great. I will check out XXL soon because yeah, it was totally good. Definitely recommend checking out. If anyone has not seen it before, seriously, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. It's definitely a lot better than it sounds on paper.
Definitely.
It's like hard to convince some people to watch it, but everyone that has, they're just like, yeah, this is really fun.
Yeah, it's hard to explain like why it's so good, but it really is just totally worth watching.
For sure.
So yeah, that was Magic Mike. What else you got on your list?
Man, what should I talk about next? I have a lot of stuff. I saw Knight of Cups, the new Terrence Malick movie.
How was that? I definitely want to check that out. Although I assume that I already know where you're going with it, but go ahead.
Honestly, I did not love it. It was kind of I was disappointed in Knight of Cups.
Yeah, I can see that.
I thought like stylistically it's good, but it was a thing where he was his style is so refined now that like you almost like anticipate it, and that's good. But on the other hand, it kind of just felt like it was going through the motions a little bit, and also it's just Christian Bale having, you know, sex with models the whole time, and I don't know. It's good. I understand it, but it just wasn't something that like grabbed me, you know. I understand what it's trying to do, but I didn't love it.
I'm not surprised by that at all. Just from his past couple movies, I feel like it's kind of his style is you're right. It's very refined. It's almost like Wes Anderson now. You know,
where it's just getting more and more specific every movie.
It's just like there are certain things that come with their movies now. Like you expect certain things to happen, certain things to play out, and the look of the film is the same. You know, and so that's interesting, but sometimes that's to a fault. You know, when you define your style so much, you know, so refined that it's almost to a fault, because then you can't really deter from that. And I don't, like, as someone who wants to make movies, I don't want to find myself in that rut, you know, like I want to explore other options, and you know.
And I feel like it also there's like good intention behind all the decisions in it. Like there's this one like sort of like mechanic that he does in the scenes, like almost like every dialogue scene in the movie is just Christian Bale walking like 5 or 6 paces behind someone while they have a conversation, and they're just like meandering but like not together, and it's just like he never walks at the same pace as someone. And I don't know if this is something that's intentional, that it's like because that signifies this, or if it was just something like he's like, well, this will make the scene more interesting, and because he doesn't have a structured script, it just kind of ends up, those things pop up a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just all about pleasure, and I get that, and I get what he's trying to do and the story he's trying to tell, but it's just like tiring. Like I can only watch like so many like topless models jump down, which sounds hilarious. I'm like complaining. It's like, there's just all these topless women jumping up and down, and you know, But like that's all it is at a certain point, you know, and it kind of like made me tune out. It's like in did you see To the Wonder?
Yeah, I did.
It's like there's a lot into The Wonder of like Ben Affleck and a woman walking through like grass fields, like feeling grass, you know. It's like I totally
know what you mean.
That's cool, but it's like got that a lot in there. And this movie's like all Christian Bale walking 6 paces behind someone, fucking models, and then like playing on a beach. It's just like
with a GoPro.
Yeah, the GoPro was cool. I like the GoPro stuff. That paid off. But I don't know. I see the value in it, and I like that movies like that are being made, and I think it like should exist. But it just didn't connect with me like his other movies did.
Well said. Fair enough. Very cool. All right. Well, that was that's kind of what I expected, but I'll check it out eventually, because I'd like to see all of his movies.
Yeah, totally. You should still definitely see it, because it's still worth seeing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Gotcha. So I revisited a film. I checked out again. So I hadn't seen it since I was a lot younger, but I watched Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I was kind of like in a horror type mood, and so I watched that. There's not much to say about it other than it's a very good movie.
Yeah, it's extremely good.
Like Anthony Hopkins is terrifying. And I don't know, it's very interesting to kind of look back and kind of think about, like, that movie won Best Picture, which is just insane that, like, a horror film
it's
got that.
It's crazy.
But it's so well made and just, like, so definitive of the times that I can see it. And it's a great movie, great classic film.
Yeah, it's really well done.
Yeah, very good. I thought it was worth mentioning. It's so good.
Definitely, man. The knife vision sequence,
oof,
very effective.
Very, very effective. And just it's so spooky when you see, I can't think of his, but the guy like the Buffalo Bill's, Buffalo Bill's house.
Yeah, totally.
And like having this like expansive underground segment of his house that like he just houses his own secret life in there. And just, like, but it's in this normal neighborhood, and just the idea of that is just terrifying.
Totally. Just a man trapping humans below his house, never knowing.
Yeah, just like trapping people and using them and like eating them and using their skin to make a bodysuit so it could be a woman, which is just like, it's so messed up.
It's very messed up.
But great movie.
Totally.
I also completely watched over one weekend Daredevil season 2.
Yeah, I binged it.
And
It's
I know
a binge.
It's a binge, and I know that I've talked about it in previous episodes, but it's super good, man. It's really good. You need to watch it.
I will. Real quick, though, we need to make a sound effect that when we say we binged a season, it's like, boom, 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 it's a binge.
Yeah.
It's like, binge. So I watched the show. Was it it was a binge. Boom, boom, boom. It's a binge. It was a binge.
Yeah, we should do that. We need like a professional voiceover guy to
come in. If there's any professional voiceover actors listening right now, shoot us an email. We'd love to get in touch.
Just like with a really like hard guitar riff.
Yeah.
So that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Look out for that next episode, maybe. So anyway, Daredevil.
Very good season. Super good. I feel like it would have benefited from having been, like, if it was 3 episodes shorter, would have been a little nicer, little
fluffy,
little tight, it was a little fluffy, a little tighter. You could just reduce that amount. There's one too many ninja fights.
I guess.
But I mean, that aside, it's they're doing stuff that like no one else is doing, and just like this relentless action, very amazingly planned out action with insane and terrific cinematography with those scenes. Mm-hmm. Like, they're becoming famous now with their like long one take action scenes.
Yeah.
And there's in episode 3, there's I think a 4-minute one take of an entire fight scene that takes place down a stairwell. He like fights these guys down a stairwell.
Oh, whoa.
And then like meets them at the bottom and fights them off, and it ends there. It's incredible.
Yeah,
like,
good stuff.
It's so good.
Who plays Daredevil again? Is it the guy? Was he on Boardwalk Empire?
I just lost. Oh yeah, Charlie Cox.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was a minor character in on Boardwalk Empire. But anyway,
cool.
He plays a terrific Daredevil. And Punisher in it is like the highlight of the entire season.
Oh, I didn't realize Punisher was in it.
Punisher is in it, and it's like the best Punisher. It's really, really, really good. But it's awesome because it's. We're gonna get into this later, but they know how to blend different yeah. superhero stories. Unlike the movie we're gonna review later, but blending in like their other Marvel characters and tying it back to Jessica Jones and having it all being like a real time story, like in real time, and everything that's happening is really in that amount of time. It's so well done. So
you gotta check it.
Marvel Daredevil.
How many episodes
Netflix.
is season 1?
Season 1 is I think 13, and I think it's the same for season 2.
Okay. Nice.
Very bingeable show. Like
it's bingeable.
It's a binge. You'll go right through it in no time. So definitely check it out.
Nice. Will do.
What else you been checking out?
Let me see here. I just counted. I watched 21 movies since we did our last.
Oh man.
thing. So I'm like, which ones to talk about? Oh, I watched Sicario.
Oh, nice. What'd you think?
Dude, Sicario is awesome.
It's good, right?
It is really good.
Yeah.
I really liked it a lot.
That first scene.
Oh, man. It just gets you right in there. You're like, all right, I'm jacked. I'm ready to do this.
I'm ready for this movie.
Yeah. It's such a cool opening. And just all the acting's great. The cinematography's amazing.
Amazing,
the score's
right?
really cool. The script is good. Just a nice, solid movie that's just like, yeah, this is good.
It's one of those that, like, every year there's always a couple of them that are like, they don't get like a ton of attention, but they're just like, they're really solid, you know?
Yeah.
And that's one of them. It's just like, didn't get a huge amount of praise, but it's well known that it's pretty good.
Yeah. And I feel like that movie in someone else's hands could have been so boring.
Yes.
Agreed. It's not a subject that is going to, like, get me in on its own, you know? So, not to say it's, like, disinteresting, but you know what I mean?
Of course.
I feel like it's something that's been done a lot, that sort of style. So it was a nice refreshing movie. Liked it a lot.
Glad you enjoyed it. Have you seen director Denis Villeneuve? I think that's how you say his name, but he did Prisoners as well.
Yeah, and Enemy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of those. I need to.
Oh, I haven't seen Enemy, but Prisoners is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It's very dark, but like there's something about that too. Same kind of feeling where you're like, this is a pretty solid movie, you know?
Yeah, totally. Isn't
yeah,
he doing the new Blade Runner?
I don't know. I think Ridley Scott's doing it.
I heard he was doing it.
Really?
And Ridley Scott's producing it.
Interesting.
Which honestly sounds pretty good. I'm just saying.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd be pretty okay with that decision.
It says right here on IMDb, Untitled Blade Runner Project, director, pre-production.
Whoa,
he's doing it.
Crazy.
So, nice.
I'm okay. I'm like totally okay with that. This is a good boy. I haven't seen his other movies, but
did you hear they announced Sicario 2?
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna make a sequel.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Right? It's not a movie you think would ever have a sequel.
I would never think that. Is it? It's gonna be like a legit sequel with everyone.
I think so. Yeah, it's very just. I think just rumors right now. It's been announced. No one really knows anything yet. But,
Crazy.
I'm assuming they're gonna bring everyone back, like Emily Blunt and everyone. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'll totally see it. I love Sicario 1. It's a great movie.
Not opposed to it because it's like it could have a sequel. Doesn't need one, but I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I'd watch it because I like the first one a lot. But it's a very self-contained story, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's got to have something else big happen, I guess.
I wonder if it's just gonna be like about like a completely new thing, just with one of the characters, you know?
Yeah, it
just
could
like
be
Benicio
more
del Toro or doing something, or you know what I mean?
Or it could be them like trying to get to Benicio del Toro, you know?
Yeah.
Like trying to get after him or something. I don't know.
I'll watch it.
I will be looking out for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. So I'm glad you liked Sicario.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah. Cinematography, yeah. It got nominated. So good. Wow, just licking that deliciousness off your fingers.
Just the scene where they come back from the whole border incident, like pretty early on.
Yeah.
And she's like laying into Josh Brolin, and it's just a huge wide shot. The whole like altercation, it's like, wow, this movie's doing this right now.
The entire conversation.
They're like less than the size of like a third of the frame, and it's just like they're just like big billowing flags. It's like, this is amazing. They're doing
seriously. Yeah, so I totally bought that on the Blu-ray because it's worth it.
I'm gonna have to pick that up at some point, I think.
My favorite shot in the whole movie is like the silhouette sunset shot where they're just like there's like this. It's like not the army, but like the entire patrol that they're with.
And it's
kind
like
of like
walking
walking.
and they're walking by.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's
and like
it's super pretty.
it's a very good. Just it's really good.
Totally.
But hell yeah, man, good stuff.
Yeah, great movie.
I was on Netflix and it was during my little horror movie stitch. I was like, what's kind of like a good horror movie I can watch right now? And I came across a movie I'd never heard of before. I was like, I'll check it out. We'll see what happens. The Awakening from 2011.
Don't know it.
I'd never heard of it either. A small movie, BBC film.
Okay.
It stars Rebecca Hall and Dominic West.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Dominic West.
Yeah, Dominic West. Yeah. It's actually I can't talk too much about it because I honestly haven't seen it. It's been a while since I've seen it or thought about it.
Wait.
But general thoughts. It was pretty good. It's like a classic ghost story.
Wait a second. Hold on.
What?
I'm sorry. I've seen this movie.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Dominic West, 2011? And then I was like, wait a second. Anyway, Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no worries. So I'm glad you've seen it. But, yeah, like classic ghost story. This woman in the 20s goes around and she's like debunks all these paranormal activities that people report. And she's like a non-believer. Classic story of a non-believer coming across something that makes her question her own beliefs. But it was actually pretty good. I thought it was clever how it kind of took that classic ghost trapping element in some movies now.
Yeah.
But had it with a spin of like being in the 20s and using like old technology to do it.
Yeah,
and
that's definitely, at least I thought, the most interesting aspect.
Pretty cool. And then there's like an inevitable twist that I was like, when it happened, I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I wasn't like, oh my God,
Yeah.
It was like,
Look
oh.
at this twist.
It's like, oh, mind blown. I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, they had to get some sort of twist in here, I guess.
Yeah. But it was good. It's good flick.
Yeah, it's a good watch.
It's decent. I wouldn't buy it or probably ever watch it again. But
yeah,
it's
but like,
it's worth
if you're
checking
looking
out.
for like a ghost story thing, it's not bad.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm in those moods. Like I like ghost stories. I like some of that kind of stuff. So
and spooky.
It's it's spooky and it's interesting. So if you like ghost stories about boys in a house together, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got one more after this.
I've got, let me see, 1, 2, 3. I feel like there's.
Do you think you can narrow it down to one or two more?
Yeah. All right, I will. All right. Oh, Terminator Genesis.
Nice.
Have you seen this movie?
Yes.
What'd you think of this movie?
It was awful.
It is horrendous.
I hated it.
It was so unfathomably bad. I just could not believe how bad it was.
I kind of knew it would be, but I went to see it anyway because I'm a Terminator fan.
Yeah,
I guess.
totally.
The original and 2, it's badass, but I didn't think it would be that bad.
It's like it's worse than Salvation.
Yeah,
it is. Going in, it's like everyone just like, well, there's no way it could be as bad as Salvation, right? And then you watch it, and you're like, holy shit, I didn't know this was possible.
Yeah, seriously. And I will give the movie one thing, and that is it was made by a guy who's like a super fan of Terminator. And so I see where he's going. Like he wants to kind of bring back that classic Terminator thing, but like having him go back and playing with the timeline. But it just like the way it went about it was just off.
It's so off.
And then like the villain is just like too much,
Way too much.
It's just
you don't need a new Terminator. No one cares about having a new like a nanobot Terminator.
They always have to up it. They always have to up it by like, see, now this one, what's the next step? This one's made out of nanobots. You shoot it, and it's all just different particles of nanobots, and it turns into flesh somehow.
Yeah, and it's the least cool one of all of them.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And just the fact that, like, sometimes there's skin on it, and then, like, at the end, it's fighting, and it just, when it regenerates, it just decides it, like, doesn't want to put the skin back on. It's like, why is it making that decision?
Like, why? Like, why did it do it that way? It's so stupid.
Like, oh, so it can look cool during this fight. I guess that's why. It's just so stupid. It's because, like, they're trying to bring back, like, the feeling of the other ones, and especially the first Terminator. The second one makes it work, but the first Terminator is so small scale, big scale, you know?
Yep.
It's like...
Totally.
There's not, like, that much going on. It's a very small scale story, but it's, like, huge stakes for the characters, so it makes it feel the same as if, you know...
Totally.
All this crazy stuff was happening. But it's just like in this universe, I just don't understand how anyone could ever like, oh, there's a Terminator after me. Like, you're crazy. It's like, oh yeah, you didn't see on the news where like the Terminator with giant knife arms like blew up 10 cars and in the middle of downtown. It's like, how is this? I don't know. It just didn't. It was way too big. Way too big.
Way too big. And also about the casting. They did a really huge success and a really huge failure with two people they cast. Emilia Clarke, great casting for Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
totally. She's pretty spot on. She looks the part. Pretty good.
She's good.
Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese.
Get Jai Courtney right out of here.
I can't stand him.
He is the worst.
He's the worst. And why is Kyle Reese just a bitch all the time?
Yeah, he's just a guy. I don't know. It's like
Kyle Reese is supposed to be a badass warrior.
It's like, this guy's Michael Biehn. Like, get out of here. This guy's Michael Biehn.
I know. Bullshit. He's just like complaining the whole time. Like, and then it's like this forced romance. Like, what is happening?
Bruto. Just also the fact that she calls Arnold Schwarzenegger Pops. It's like,
yeah, what?
It's like, yeah, it's like and then Pops here came. It's like, why are you calling him Pops? Like, why? What is this weird unspoken thing where you just call him Pops? I don't like this at all.
Why Pops?
It's so stupid. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's brutal, man. It was so brutal.
Yeah, it's laughably bad.
We took like a little break and we paused it and then came back, and that was like about halfway through the movie. And we're watching it and like everything's ramping up, and I was like, all right, it's probably almost done. Someone went to the bathroom, paused it again. I was like, oh my God, it's been 15 minutes. Like, still 45 minutes left in this movie. I don't know.
Must power through.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I think people should just leave the Terminator series alone.
Yeah, just don't do it.
It's like, or else someone's going to do it like 20 years from now, and it's going to be a complete reboot of like it has to be small scale, you know?
Yeah, totally.
That's the lesson we have to learn here, is it has to be smaller. Don't up the stakes anymore. They can't be upped anymore.
Yeah, and it's like there's big scenes in Terminator 2, but it's like, it's still just like a guy chasing a kid and another guy, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like weird armies of, I mean, they are sending people back, but looping the timeline, and then there's like 2 Arnold Schwarzeneggers, and I don't know. It's just, it's outrageous.
It's very outrageous. Yep, Terminator Genesis. So,
it's a big old fart.
Yeah.
Well, out of 5, I'd say I'd give it a,
yeah. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. All right, what about you?
But anyway, so let's talk about Pee-wee's big holiday.
Yes. Let's do it.
So let me first start off by saying I was, for some reason, did not grow up with Pee-wee. Just didn't know much about it, anything at all. So to prepare for Big Holiday, I watched Big Adventure for the first time with my girlfriend who loves Pee-wee and grew up with Pee-wee.
Nice.
So it was an interesting perspective to see that as well. But Pee-wee's Big Adventure, super weird, but great movie. Like,
Yeah.
I could see why people like it. It's kind of like a classic film. I get it.
Yeah, totally.
And Pee-wee's Big Holiday. I loved it.
It's great.
You got to know what it is. Like, I'm glad I watched Big Adventure first.
Yeah, totally. Or else it just would have been kind of like, what is this? It's
Like,
very weird.
What am I watching?
Yeah, out of context, it's very weird.
But if it knows what it is, and I like how Netflix is kind of being that voice and leading all these people to kind of revamp old franchises, but in an interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have, like they did Arrested Development was their first one.
Yeah.
We were able to relaunch that, and they're relaunching Pee-wee. And so good for Netflix for doing that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. What'd you think?
I thought it was super funny. I really liked it a lot. It's just so fun. It was just so fun to watch.
It's outrageous.
Oh, it's so outrageous. And there's things that, like, aren't the greatest in it. There's parts that are better than others. But overall, I just thought it was hilarious. And, like, the reason that he's going on the adventure is so funny.
So funny.
It is hysterical. And I don't know, there's just so many great jokes. I laughed a lot and just, like, had a lot of fun watching it. It's super good.
I definitely had a very good time watching it. I laughed so much. I liked how I'm trying to look it up right now, but the actor who played his best friend,
Joe Manganiello or whatever.
Yeah, played himself.
Yeah.
And he's just like, they just became instant best friends.
It's amazing.
It's so good. He's like, Pee-wee, you're just the best. So, like, come to my birthday party.
Yeah.
5 days from now. It's good. But here's one thing, though. I don't think it's for kids.
Yeah.
I mean, a kid could watch it and be fine. But there's, like, one scene in particular, like, in the hotel room with the girls.
Oh,
like, kind of like stripping, and it's like, I don't know, it's questionable, but it's still innocent enough to where it's completely fine.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't aimed at kids as much as the other one was.
Yeah.
And especially Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah, Pee-wee's Playhouse and Big Adventure are, like, for kids that adults can find enjoyment out of. But I think Big Holiday is for those adults who grew up with Pee-wee, and now they're older, and this is for them as, like, a nostalgic, like, revisitation of the franchise,
Yeah.
But no, but it's a lot of fun. I think anyone would find it hilarious if you have a good sense of humor. It's just ridiculous and outrageous and silly, and that makes it amazing.
Yeah, just so outrageous. Just the whole time being like, God damn it, they're doing this. It's just like starting to laugh. Just like the balloon chair just in the beginning, the Rube Goldberg machine thing. Where he, like, his chair's on this giant balloon that, like, flies at his ceiling. It's just, like, pushed so far that it's just hysterical. The tiny car.
But dude, Paul Rubens is still able to do the character perfectly. After all this time.
Yeah.
He's 64, I think.
That's crazy.
He doesn't look it.
No, and he is killing it still as Pee-wee.
He does not look that old, and he's killing it. Yeah, like, he's so spot on Pee-wee. It's hilarious.
The little, like, drinking root beer barrels also is hysterical.
Yeah.
Putting the tiny straws in the root beer barrels. It's amazing.
The whole beginning opening sequence was hilarious. Like, him getting out of bed and, like, doing this entire like, doing the typical thing we did for breakfast, but he did it, like, down the street and just like,
it's just
this whole obstacle course.
It was like a thing where they felt like, well, we need to do this because this is, like, an iconic thing that we're gonna bring back, so let's just make it, like, 5 times more implausible and outrageous.
Totally.
Just like that being someone's actual morning routine. Because does he like skate by and like pick up an old woman and she like skates with him? And
yeah, she's like skates up and is like, hey, Pee-wee.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He like drops her off. It's like part of the routine that happens every morning. Like,
yeah.
It's so funny.
And the scene with the farmer and all his daughters, really funny.
Yeah. Super funny.
I don't know, just like most of the encounters. There's a couple at the end that aren't as good as others, but it's very much worth watching.
When he finally gets to the destination, it's like so funny.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like seeing like the other side.
Yeah.
Like it's so great.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm glad I was able to kind of experience something new, but also kind of have like see that collective of like the past with like this new film as well.
Yeah,
it was interesting to go back to Big Adventure and see it for the first time, and then also experience Big Holiday. It's kind of like a double feature. It was interesting, and I can see why people like it. It's I like Pee-wee. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's super funny.
Nice. So we're 42 minutes in. You wanna get right into our review?
Yeah, we should get into the review. I can save.
Because we got lots to talk about.
I probably will not watch as many movies before our next episode, so I'll just save those ones for.
For keep watching them. But
yeah.
Pick and choose which ones to talk about. Keep watching films though. All right. So, anyways, let's get into our review of Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Batty v Soups DOJ.
That's him right there. There he is. Let's get a shot.
Who's that?
You must be new. That is Bruce Wayne.
Mr. Wayne. Clark Kent, Daily Planet.
What's your position on the Bat Vigilante in Gotham? Civil liberties are being trampled on in your city. People living in fear. He thinks he's above the law.
The Daily Planet criticizing those who think they're above the law is a little hypocritical. Wouldn't you say? Considering every time your hero saves a cat out of a tree, you read a puff piece editorial about an alien who could burn the whole place down.
Most of the world doesn't share your opinion, Mr. Wayne.
Maybe it's Gotham City and me. We just have a bad history with freaks dressed like clowns.
All right, so first off, I think we should kind of talk a little bit about, before we dive into our opinions, let's talk about a little bit, like, this is a big movie, right? This is the idea of these characters and this film coming out. It's a big deal. So let's kind of talk about the ideas behind it, kind of like what's happened since it's come out. So we know that Zack Snyder made Man of Steel, and this is kind of the sequel to that.
Yeah.
And this is a film with two iconic characters that we've never seen together. Oh, more than two, I should say.
Yeah.
But really, it's focused on two into one film. Very big deal. This movie made actually a ton of money when it first came out for the opening weekend, and has actually since then plummeted in the box office after the first weekend. Yeah, it was
like 80% or something, right?
Yeah, it's like I think like 86%. It plummeted.
86.
Yes.
It's rough.
Which that's actually taking into account the Thursday sales, so it actually is more when you take that away.
Wow.
So, not a good fallback. Clearly, people went to go see the movie to experience it, and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it. It's a very conflicting movie too. So that's something that's interesting as well. But most critics don't like it, right? So that's probably, I feel like, has something to do with the plummet in sales.
Yeah, because the first weekend you're gonna get all the people that you're gonna guarantee a ticket from.
Right.
Like the diehard Batman and Superman fans, they're going to be there day 1 or 2, you know? So then, like, all the people who are just like, well, maybe I'll see that movie. If all the people who love Batman and Superman come back and are like, yeah, it was garbage, you know, no one else is, you know what I mean? It makes sense.
Exactly. So that's kind of, that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, let's. So I think a lot of people know a lot about the film itself. So let's get into Zach.
Yeah.
What are your initial general thoughts about the movie?
Well, I'm not a fan, I gotta say. Didn't really like it too much, but then again, I don't know. I'm not like as invested with these characters, you know. I haven't read the comics these are based off of. I don't have like as much previous knowledge about like the stories and the different like, you know, threads that they're pulling from different material. But I will say the Batman v Superman scene is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I liked seeing Batman and Superman fight, and I feel like if people are going to the movie, that part's gonna be satisfying for the most part. How that ends, we can talk about later.
Yeah.
I also I enjoy Jesse Eisenberg. I actually,
really?
Yeah. Did you not like Jesse Eisenberg?
I was not a fan of Jesse Eisenberg.
I didn't think he was like great, but I was like, it's like fine, you know. I don't think it's his fault. What's wrong with his character?
I see. Well, you continue. Continue what you were saying. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say in general, I felt like I don't really like Henry Cavill or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
I'm not crazy about him, but I probably liked him just as much as the last movie. He's fine. Amy Adams, she's good with what she has to do. Ben Affleck, good with what he has to do. Jesse Eisenberg, good with what he has to do. But it's just like, for me, it's just like acting-wise, there's just not much for them to do, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like the fault. But I feel like them, like, I don't think Ben Affleck was a bad Batman. I just think he didn't have enough to work with, you know?
Yeah. So is that where kind of it falls short for you? Is the acting, like the characters?
No, I'd say the writing.
What's that?
I'd say the writing probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Just, like,
so the
the
writing is
structure.
where it kind of falls short for you. Okay. Interesting.
What were you gonna say though? You're about to jump in before.
Oh, earlier I was talking about Jesse Eisenberg when I was. I did not like him because, well, let me just go ahead and start with my opinion, then I'll lead into that.
For sure.
Which is, I didn't like the movie either. It's and see, this will be a good conversation because you haven't read the comics and I have.
Yeah, totally.
I know these comics and I still didn't like it because this movie to describe it is like a very pretty, just jumbled mess.
For sure.
It is all over the place and it wants to be so many different things in one movie and it's just way overly ambitious.
Totally.
And I can see where how it led into that. It's kind of just a disaster because you have it has to be a sequel to Man of Steel. So you have to wrap up those events and how it leads into other things.
Yeah.
But you also want to set up all these other characters, not just Batman, but shoehorning in the entire Justice League, which completely unnecessary.
Yep.
And setting up that whole universe because they're just not patient. They just have to be on Marvel's level now.
Exactly.
That's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
It's just,
and I feel like that's the biggest fault of the movie is that this isn't the time for this. Like 5 years is the time for this. You guys missed the boat, you know? Like if you want this to happen, you should have like produced all these other movies to come out really in really quick succession so then you can make this. It felt like there needed to be a Batman movie before this. It felt like there also needed to be a Superman sequel before this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe this would work, for me at least. It just, it's just too it felt like, all right, we got to do this, that, all right, that's done, get out of here. All right, on to the next thing. We got to do this, like, all right, they're doing this now. All right, that part's done. It's over. Like, we're moving on, you know?
Exactly. And I'm going to lead into this later about, like, the ending and stuff, of how that's just messed up.
Yeah.
And how that's too overly ambitious as well. But also, I don't understand the concept of Zack Snyder wanting to put in... He basically squeezes in... He wants every comic book story, like every classic comic book DC story, iconic story, to be in one film, which is just insane to me. He wants to have them fight, which is Dark Knight Returns. He wants to have... I don't want to spoil it, but Superman's plot from another thing in there. Mm-hmm. 2 different Superman plots in there. He wants to have the Justice League squeezed in there. There's actually a reference to the Killing Joke in the movie, which they actually took out a lot of from the final film. It's going to be in the extended version. Uh-huh. And they have all these other characters, and the movie ends up being just like a set of like vignettes, but that are unrelated to each other. And it's just scene. They don't interact like human beings. They don't talk to each other. Things don't, like, oh my God, like, it's so frustrating. Like, the conflicts that happen are not caused by actual actions that they're doing. That they just happen. Yeah. Because it has to happen.
And people just figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Amy Adams
just figure it out.
Is the weakest character. And it's like, she's a great actress. And it's like, she should have.
I don't think she's right for Lois Lane. I don't think she's a good Lois Lane.
Yeah, but she's a great actress, though.
I agree. I love Amy Adams, but for this part, I don't know. But
yeah,
what were you saying?
And it just seems like it's cool that she's getting this much screen time, but when you're giving her this much screen time to just like figure out things that the audience already knows, just like as a device, so now that the characters know, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, we knew that. Why is there this scene? You know?
Well, she's kind of used as a puppet to like make things. She's literally used as a puppet.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like they don't know how to write it. Like, they don't know how to write these scenes to make things work.
Every scene is just like giving you information about what's happening. It's just like, all right, we're telling you this is happening now. It's like, hey, I just ran in the room. This is happening. Everyone goes, oh no, like that's happening? It just felt like that the whole time.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we both didn't like the movie. I figured that. Before we go into spoilers, how about, let's just mention a few things that you liked about the movie. You already mentioned that you liked the interaction between Batman and Superman. Was there anything else that kind of stood out to you that you really liked about that?
I liked, I'll say, parts of the score were very generic and boring. But parts of it were actually really good. I liked all the Lex Luthor score a lot, actually. Like when it first cuts to him like walking down the hallway, and it's like sort of the big orchestral stuff. It's like, this is cool. This is so villainous, you know?
Yeah,
and he's such a classic villain that like, this is working. You know, I'm digging this. At least they're trying something that's not like just like really bland, you know?
Right.
I also, while I don't think in the context of the movie it necessarily worked for me, I liked the concept of the opening scene a lot. Of it showing the ending from the last movie from Batman's perspective, and it's just interesting to see like the fight scene that's so epic at the end of the first movie, but like really far away where Superman's just like a tiny dot, you know?
I agree. I think that's probably one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
Totally.
Definitely the idea of it is pretty cool.
For sure. So I like that. And then, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the idea that they showed it from his perspective, and that kind of sets it up in a good way to have him not like Superman right away. I get that.
For sure.
I also like the score, most of it. Some of the themes, like Wonder Woman, was kind of weird and not seemed like from a different movie, but that's probably because the composer did his score he collaborated with Junkie XL, which is like a completely different like type of music, but it's fine. Like overall, I like the score a lot. Like some of the like the themes were interesting, like very haunting.
Yeah.
I also really liked. I actually liked Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I thought he was good.
I thought he was a really good Bruce Wayne. I thought he was a good Batman. This ended up being more of a Batman film than I expected.
Yeah, I feel like the first 45 minutes, I was like, this is a Batman movie.
Yeah, like I didn't expect that.
And then it became a Superman movie for a little bit, and then it became a Batman movie again, and then a Superman like real quick at the end again. You know? Yeah.
But yeah, I thought his scenes were good. And I liked how he portrayed Ben Affleck portrayed Bruce Wayne, and I liked his action scenes. Like his action scenes are really awesome.
Yeah.
Like the one in particular where he bursts through the floor and does that whole fighting sequence. That's like one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
in the movie. Pretty good. I also really liked Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I thought she was pretty good. Don't think she was necessary, but I thought she was well casted, and I think her and Jesse Eisenberg were the only two people that seemed to be having any fun in this movie.
Totally. The only people watching it too.
I know we're talking about positive things, but this leads me into something I did want to talk about, which is this movie is just overly dark.
So serious.
So, it takes itself way too seriously.
It is so deadpan, straight-faced serious.
There's no joy
None.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just way too serious and just like not fun.
There's no jokes ever. Ever. And it's not like I need like jokes, but just like
a smile or something.
Yeah, anything. Anything.
It's just
anything.
It's relentlessly dark and serious. And I see what they're doing with that is the production company is being like, well, they want to go with Christopher Nolan's style, which is like the dark, gritty version of that. But even those movies, for one, were better made, but two, they actually had at least some cracks of jokes or joy in between. Like they were having fun
or
making
fun.
This movie.
The key word.
This movie just did not seem like it was fun at all.
Because it's not. It's just it's
it's
so
just
serious.
Not. It's just like overly dark and overly like teen angsty. And these heroes, like they're not even like, they don't have any like qualities that are heroic.
Yeah.
Like they just are. They just fight. There's no reasoning behind them. There's no goodness. There's no like true justice to any. And Superman, he's just angry the entire film. And Zack Snyder has even come out saying he doesn't even like Superman. So why, I don't know why he'd be in.
Good job making a movie about it then, bud. Like
I know, like
it just seems like a dumb choice. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna devote years of my life to something I don't really like. It's just like, why do it?
Why? Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure there'll be more to talk about, but yeah. Do you want to get into spoilers?
Sure.
Just so we can have some freedom here.
Yeah. Totally.
So all right. So we're gonna start spoilers for Batman vs Superman right now.
You know the oldest lie in America, Senator? That power can be innocent.
You're gonna go to war. That son of a bitch brought the war to us.
You know you can't win this. It's suicide.
The greatest gladiator match in the history of the world. Son of Krypton versus Bat of Gotham.
You're psychotic.
That is a 3-syllable word for any thought too big for little minds.
It's time you learn what it means to be a man.
Stay down! If I wanted it, you'd be dead already.
If man won't kill God, the devil will do it.
What have you done?
Spoiler City.
Just everyone driving with big spoilers on their cars.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I have to take a sip of my beer to prepare for this. Okay, so Superman dies.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the big spoiler.
But he doesn't die.
But he doesn't die. But he dies twice because he goes out into fucking space, gets turned into a fucking corpse, and then the sunlight comes onto him, and suddenly he's alive again. Why doesn't anyone think to like put him out in the sun again, like when he dies at the end of the movie?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, or anything like that. But that's two. What I was talking about earlier with all these comic things, that's two different stories of Superman shoehorned into this already overbearing movie of him fighting Batman, one story, him out in space and becoming a corpse, second story, him then sacrificing himself to Doomsday and being killed again. That's the death of Superman, which came out in the 90s, which was like the height of fucking comic books at the time. Mm. And it's supposed to set up future franchise? Like it's supposed to... Superman has already died.
Yeah.
Where do you go from here?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like...
How are we supposed to care for this character? I don't give a shit about him.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
There's no humanness to him at all. Sorry to cut you off. There's no human parts to him at all. And then he dies, and it's just like it's like it's if nothing was sacrificed. And then we're supposed to be like, oh, wow, big surprise, he's coming back. There's already marketing for the fucking Justice League movie, so I already know he survived. So
yeah, and they had to do that little stupid dirt rising.
Yeah,
fucking
like
Christopher Nolan jerk off ending.
Inception ending.
It was brutal, that ending. Just like pushing in with the like pushing in over people, holding the candles in his funeral. And then especially that last shot, it's just like he's trying so hard to make a Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh yeah, but like he's also trying to do his own thing, which I get.
Yeah,
and that's
stylistically
fine.
This was a lot more Zack Snyder than Man of Steel. At least I felt.
And it did look pretty. It looked very nice. Like you saw it in 3D, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, but I guess it's inherent with 3D, but sometimes the image is like a little not quite as focused as I want it to be. So I had a problem with that, and some of like the edges of the screen were like little out, and I was like, it's frustrating. I want it to be sharp, you know?
Yeah, totally.
It was shot in IMAX. I want to see this shit. So that was my only complaint with like the actual like image of the picture.
Yeah, the 3D was like fine. I got that a little bit with wanting to be a little sharper. I will say though that the very few underwater shots, I was like, this looks amazing. I want to watch some underwater 3D documentaries because that's probably very cool looking.
Oh yeah, for sure. Totally. Okay.
But yeah,
so
back to the movie.
Justice. Okay, so you have this scene too that. Okay, Wonder Woman finds this flash drive, which happens to have all these fucking files on it about these other superheroes.
Which happen to have already branded logos pre-made by the company for these superheroes.
They have this really great graphic department over at LexCorp.
It's fucking outrageous.
They're like, what do we do with these freelancers in the free time? Why don't we just have them design these fucking logos for these superheroes? These nice, perfect little logos. Anyway.
So silly.
Why didn't we just have that as like an after credit scene?
Yeah.
You know?
They
Done!
had to cut to that like halfway through the movie? Come on.
Take them completely out of the movie. Make it only about Batman and Superman. In fact, actually, you should have just made this a Batman film. You should have made just Dark Knight Returns, which is a Batman movie where he confronts Superman.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it should have been. And then it would have been probably a good movie. And then just take your time. And then at the very end, do like a thing like Samuel L. Jackson in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Very end, be like, here's a little tease for Justice League. Done. That's all you need. You don't need... It had nothing to do with the fucking plot.
Nothing. And also,
absolutely
it's hysterical
nothing.
that Ben Affleck like just plugs this like basically fancy flash drive in. It's just like decrypting, just like a bar at his computer, just like hacking 98%. You know?
Hacking 98%.
Just like, God damn it, outrageous.
Oh man, yeah. I just have so much rage about this movie because it's clearly, for me, it's Zack Snyder with a lot of power trying to make a comic book movie, which he can visually, he's an artist, okay, but he doesn't understand the characters, and that is essential to making the movie great. You have to understand the film. And here's the crazy thing. You have like 70 years of fucking development, character development to pull from.
Yeah.
None of that is there. They're just like empty shells that are just Batman and Superman. No characterization whatsoever to them. Superman there's no human characteristics to him.
None. And it's like
infuriating.
It's like if you made this movie and it really delivered on the Batman vs Superman part and was this shallow, it'd be like, well, it's a them fighting movie. Okay. You know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not even satisfying in that regard. Like that's a good scene, but it's like, what, 10 minutes of this 2.5 hour long, like bloated million storyline movie? And it's I don't know. It's just it's rough.
It's crazy. You know, to be honest, when I went into the movie, my expectations were to the floor. Like, they were so low. I was actually kind of excited. So
yeah,
I went to go see it. And I'm like, I'm excited to see these characters. You know, as a geek comic guy, want to see it. I already know it's not going to be good. First hour, I was like, you know what? Okay. If it stays on this, I won't completely hate it. About an hour goes by, and I'm like, then I started to see where they're going with the plot, and like the actual scenes that were happening. I'm like, are they really doing this? And I'm just like, okay, now I see it. Now I see why it's gotten bad reviews, because this is just bad.
Yeah, it's the absence of good.
Yeah, it is. It's the absence of light. It's so dark and just absence of good. There's none of that in there. And another thing about the characterization, like knowing the characters. Okay, so you have two guys, Batman and Superman, with two different ideologies. In this film, they're like the fucking same.
Yeah.
They're just both dark and just fucking bitter and just like angsty. It makes
and also
like, why would they
a bunch of people, both of them.
Seriously.
Batman just has guns and just shoots people and like it cracks people's necks. It's like, what is this?
That's not fucking Batman.
He has a chain gun on the Batmobile and he just blows up cars. It's like, granted, Batman probably killed some police officers in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Yeah.
He blew up some cars. But he didn't point a gun at a guy's face and shoot him, you know?
Seriously?
Like, it's just like, why is this like a good hero in this story, you know?
Yeah.
Especially for kids. Like, I don't think kids should watch Batman where he just shoots people in the face. Like, that's
not
bullshit.
at all. You have fucking kids with, like, that... Kids wear Superman shirts, you know? Like,
yeah.
This is not a movie for kids, and...
At all, really.
Superman and Batman are just completely unlikable. Like,
yeah.
I don't care about them. And when Superman dies, I don't care that he died. It's not a big deal. Because you haven't set up anything for me to care about him.
And
like, why do I care?
Yeah, you don't give a shit, and you also know that he's not dead. It's just like, well, he's not gonna die.
Nothing matters.
Yeah.
Nothing fucking matters in this entire movie, because nothing fucking matters, because you know there's going to be a Justice League, And it also assumes that you already know who everyone is going into it.
Oh, totally. I felt pretty lost in this movie when it was going on.
Yeah, the story development is terrible. But like Gal Gadot, like she's Wonder Woman, right? You know she's gonna be Wonder Woman. But you know that because of the marketing. You know that because of the trailers and stuff. That's not how a movie creates a story. Is basing everything off their fucking marketing and assuming that the audience knows these things. You have to introduce them and develop fucking plot.
Yeah, make things that aren't just talky faces that actually seem like people that could possibly maybe exist.
And I'm very passionate about this topic because I like comics and I like these characters and I grew up with these characters.
Yeah, and over the course of years and different stories and series, it's you can explore different parts of the character, and that's almost what makes them interesting. The characters that stay around so long,
Exactly, because they're this immortal character, this. There's just so much development behind it, and that means so much to so many people. Just like Star Wars. Same kind of thing. It's just there's a lot, and I get that there's a lot of weight behind that, and making a movie with these two people, I understand that's a lot of pressure. But I think trying to make too many plot points happen, too many stories into one movie, is just definitely the wrong direction to go in.
Totally.
Let's talk about the scene where the complete random scene, which is totally just an homage to a completely other comic.
Is that the
dream sequence?
Oh my god. Yeah, let's get into
completely pointless. Does not serve the story at all. 0%. Where Bruce Wayne, Batman, has a dream scene where he sees kind of the future of where it could go with Superman. It's his fear of where if Superman took over the world and there was a cult following behind him, he had an army behind him with unlimited power, this is what would happen. The world would be ended, and he's this rogue guy against Superman's army, right? Completely pointless to the story. It existed in a comic. That's why Zack Snyder put it in.
Which comic was it in?
I don't quite remember.
Because I feel I have seen that Batman design of him in the trench coat and stuff.
There's one design of him. I forget the comic, but I think there's a couple of them. There's one I know where if Superman had come from Russia, there'd be an alternate universe of what that would look like.
I remember
that's one of them where Batman has a trench coat and he's that kind of guy. And there's also another one where I get where this comes from, which I have not read, which is why I don't know it.
I got you.
But anyway, Batman just starts fucking shooting guys. He takes a gun, starts fucking shooting everyone in the face,
twisting necks,
killing all these people. And then anyway, and then you have this. It makes no I get what he's trying to do with the Flash going through time, right? That's just not necessary right now. Bring that in another time. We get that Flash will be in the Justice League. It has nothing to do with this movie.
Yeah, it's just that started this whole sequence, and I was like, okay, what's this? Why does Batman look like this? Then I saw the Superman soldier, just what am I watching right now?
Yeah, what is happening?
What is this? What am I watching? I don't know.
It's cool, I guess, having a fight.
Honestly,
but why?
The scene of that scene where there's soldiers fighting with Batman with giant mosquitoes flying around killing people. I'm in it. If that was the movie, okay. That's fine. But you're just pooping this in the middle of this movie, and it's just where is this coming from? I have no idea. Why is this in here? This does not.
It's a dream, guys.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's just a dream. It's like, oh, so you just wanted that in there, so you just go, well, we could make it a dream and just poop it in the middle. Like,
that's literally what it was.
Yeah, it's just like, well, Batman would look really cool in this outfit, and it'd be pretty sweet to see him just like take down a bunch of guys. Okay, yeah, let's just like add some action in there, I guess. Because it is all just people talking for like the first hour and 40 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, I'm not like mad about that, but it definitely felt like just fucking put something in there. There needs to be fighting. Like, people need to die and punch each other. And there needs to be giant mosquito man for some reason.
Supposedly that I read up on something that supposedly takes place on the planet Apocalypse, which is just a whole other thing, whole other nerd reference.
Yeah,
thing.
that's just like, wow, that was on another planet.
No one's gonna get that, you know. It's just like not necessary. Like, who cares? Like, it was cool, wow, but it had nothing to do with the story.
Nothing.
But what I was saying with Flash is like how he's clearly coming from back in time, but also warning him in a dream, which makes no sense.
No sense at all.
But he's like so blurry, and like you can't really see him because they don't know what Flash is gonna look like.
Oh, yet. Is that why?
That's why.
Wow.
So, why do you have him in the movie then?
Yeah.
Why is he in the movie?
That's brutal. So wait, is this gonna definitely be the actor who plays Flash though, or is that not even decided?
No, that's decided.
Okay.
Ezra Miller, when you see him in like the security cam footage, that's gonna be Flash.
Okay. And this is not the same Flash as the show, right?
No.
Why?
I don't know. They should just keep that guy.
It is so stupid. They're pushing this integrated Justice League thing, and they already have a built-in TV show with how many episodes does this have?
It has like a season, right? I don't know.
2 seasons.
2, wow.
Wow, it has 20-some episodes? 18?
It has an established character they could integrate into the same universe. But here's what I read up on it, and Zack Snyder said no, because that character is too lighthearted for his vision of the universe, which is just this fucking gritty, dark.
Which is just where everyone sits around and is depressed and stares out windows at.
Depressed and angry, and like fucking being a superhero is the worst thing on earth.
Yeah, it is. When you make it like this is the worst thing on earth, Zack Snyder.
I don't want to be I don't want to be a superhero.
Yeah. No one wants to do this, Zach. Like, I want to go home. This is the worst.
They're terrible people. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm glad Superman died in this fucking universe. Like, he was not a good person. He was angry all the time. He just looked around ominously. Had nothing real to say, ever.
Just fucking boring.
Yeah, very boring. Way too serious. Like, it's just a real disappointment to see it happen this way. Yeah. And I kind of, when it first came, like the trailers were announced and all that, like we all knew it'd be this way, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, once Zack Snyder's on something, it's like, well, that's probably not going to be good. It's probably going to be a bad film, unfortunately.
And I will say though, the action scenes with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, that entire scene happening with fighting Doomsday, that is very DC comic-esque. I'll give it that. Like, it seems like it's straight out of like a DC comic.
Okay.
Which, by the way, DC comics aren't necessarily good. They're very high on themselves, and it's very DC, like how that happens.
Uh-huh.
But there's just too much CG, and there's no weight to it, and I feel like there's no real stakes to what's happening at all.
I agree.
That scene alone kind of encompasses the entire movie of like,
for sure,
too much CG. There's no real weight to the film.
You're just tossing Wonder Woman in because we got to introduce her.
Because why? Because we have to.
Because Superman's not popular enough on his own to make money. So you need. It's like, we'll get everyone who loves Batman in there. We'll get the girls in there because they'll see it for the Wonder Woman. We'll dupe them into watching this super hyper masculine movie about buff men being sad. So
it's just so frustrating.
real quick, question. So that's the troll guy that they fight is like an actual character from stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
He is a very well-known character in DC.
Okay.
Where
That's
which Lex Luthor I'll go into that in a second. But yes. Doomsday is a common villain that the Justice League has to fight.
okay.
But Doomsday in this movie looks like the troll from Lord of the Rings and every other troll.
I was about to say, because I was asking, because I didn't know, and my friend that I saw it with didn't know that was a character either. I'm like, why do they fight a weird troll? Like, I don't understand why it's just some troll that they fight at the end of this movie.
So they clearly just had to have a reason to like bring them together, right? So they fight. And then they have Doomsday to fight, which is a terrible design.
Is this the guy who's
Doomsday.
like has gray skin and has like purple? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I think. No, yeah, I'm thinking that's not what I was thinking of.
You're thinking of Apocalypse.
Yeah. Never mind.
Now Apocalypse is gonna come out later, but Doomsday is kind of like another villain.
Yeah,
not quite as big as Apocalypse, but no, Doomsday is not like this mindless creature like how this thing is, and the design is completely off.
Yeah,
it doesn't even look like Doomsday. And let's talk about Lex Luthor's plan here. Okay, he has no fucking plan whatsoever. What I don't even understand what his plan is.
I don't either.
So his plan is to. This has nothing to do with Jesse Eisenberg himself, by the way. But I'm just saying. What's his plan? He's going to have these guys fight each other, okay, and if one gets eliminated, great, better for him. But I'm going to make this fucking creature from my blood with, why does this machine exist? I don't know. But it makes Doomsday, and what's his plan after that? He's got to eliminate Doomsday after that. Like, what is his end plan?
Yeah, nothing. I don't know.
There's no fucking point.
It's like he lives his life to see them fight, and that doesn't even watch them fight.
Yeah.
He acts like it's such a great thing, and he's gonna love it, and then he just goes away. Like, yeah, go do it. I'm out of the movie. See you guys later. Because I'll show up in prison right at the end.
And you did mention earlier that you liked Jesse Eisenberg. I think that I didn't, because I know Lex Luthor, and that's not Lex Luthor to me.
Yeah,
but I understand
totally.
why people do, because he's the only one in this movie that seems to be having any fucking fun.
Exactly. And that's really the only reason why. It's like I didn't necessarily...
He's the comic relief.
Yeah, totally.
That's it. That's a shame.
Yeah, it's like... I mean, I don't know a lot like about Lex Luthor and stuff, but I knew that this was not like the traditional way to go with it. But yeah, he's the only one that's fun to watch. Because he's getting into it, and you can see him getting into it, and it's like he's trying to make this not really boring. Like,
yeah, and I see the appeal in that, because this movie is so drab that it needs someone like that to make it a little more entertaining to watch, you know?
Totally.
I mean, he's not Lex Luthor at all, which is fine. He can be his own thing, but he's more like playing off the Joker vibe. But whatever. You're right. He's the only one that's like trying to make this not boring and like a little more lighthearted. And he's the only one doing that. Everyone else is just like way too serious,
like
way too dark.
They're all like, we're gonna die in an hour. Just everyone. Just tons of anxiety and super sad. Like, I thought it's just like not what superheroes should be. I think.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean,
there's nothing inspiring about anything anyone does in the movie.
Exactly.
Because it's supposed to be a thing of like, you're a kid and you read it and you go like, man, he's so cool. He's doing all this for all these people, you know?
Yeah, he's like helping people. And it's like, sacrificing himself and
oh, he's just this really rich guy who just kills people who are bad and hates a superhero, and oh, he's just an alien who like
but he always
destroyed an
does the
entire
right
city.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's basically what this is, and that's disturbing to have like a kid try and look up towards that, you know?
Yeah, it's just it's a bummer that it's not like that anymore, you know?
Yeah. And there is like an inherent thing with DC and Justice League. I mean, I'm more of a Marvel guy myself, but I have read a lot of DC stuff, and there's stuff that I like. But I like Marvel more because it's, for one, more fun. And DC does have an inherent thing where it takes itself too seriously. And it's kind of like these very unrealistic plots with character. Like, the Justice League is about these godlike beings who have no flaws, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the Marvel characters, every Marvel character is someone you can relate to. Mm-hmm. Because they're like, they have traits that everyone can relate to, and they have flaws, and they're not perfect, and they just happen to be in extraordinary situations.
Yeah.
Where, like, Superman's just fucking all-powerful and has all these powers, and he's
Good
just
luck
perfect.
getting a hold of a space rock. It's the only thing that can kill me.
Which, in this movie, Lex Luthor just knows about kryptonite.
Yeah,
it's
they're
just a
like,
common
"We found
thing
it
that's
at the
known.
bottom of the Indian Ocean. It's like, how? How'd you find it?
And we just know that it affects Kryptonians.
Yeah. We just found it and then we rubbed it all over a bunch of Kryptonians, and now we know.
We know that it breaks up their cells, so yeah. Then Batman goes in and steals it. And then he creates this spear, and then let's
just
go.
Throws it away, basically.
Just throws it away after. Oh, I probably won't need this again.
Yeah, this is never gonna come in handy. I just need to. I don't want to carry this. I don't want to carry this to the next fight. Can we get into that scene real quick when they stop Ving each other?
Good segue. Yeah, let's get into that scene.
Oh my god, that was the most brutal moment of the movie for me. It was like I didn't
so
like
bad.
it, and it was once they start fighting, it's like, well, at least this isn't like hard to watch, you know. At least
like,
this is them fighting each other, and it's big and fun and like a big action movie in 3D. That's what this is right now, you know.
Yep.
And then he goes like, Martha, no, and it's like, what did you say?
Lois Lane comes out of nowhere.
Just runs in and goes, Martha's his mother. And then there's that fucking shot, the flashback shot from earlier where he was at the grave, where it just says Wayne, and it like pulls out and says Martha Wayne. And I was like, no way. I can't believe this is what they're doing right now. And then Batman,
suddenly everything's okay.
Yeah, he's just like, you know what? I think I will go against everything I believe in to save your mom. Because she has the same name as my mom. It is
that makes us best friends.
The dumbest thing I've seen in a long time in a movie.
It's the worst.
It's
the worst.
I could not believe it. That scene. I was like,
I know.
No way this is real.
I laughed when that happened because it's just insane. And I feel like it's just like one of the writers who... Also, I think a lot of these guys who worked on this thing don't know anything about the comic books at all, and they were just given this property to use.
Yeah.
Because there's like one guy like read one comic one time, and he's like, you know what? I never noticed that Batman's mom and Superman's mom, both names are named Martha.
It's like, let's put that in there. No one's
I'm gonna make
know.
this. I'm going to make this the one thing that's going to blow everyone's mind, and everything's going to hinge on that moment.
Yeah, that moment that's going to be real powerful when they think about their moms both being named Martha.
The entire fucking film is hinged on that thought, and it's the dumbest thought ever.
It is boneheaded to put that into script. It's just like, what are you guys doing? Get out of here.
So, Batman with a kryptonite spear about to jab this guy in the chest
A guy he hates.
And kills
and
he
is
hates
convinced
him.
is bad for humanity. Like,
That aside, that's not even how even Batman even thinks. But that aside, he hates Superman, wants to kill him, and then he says that his mom's name is Martha, and now everything's cool.
brutal.
It was just it was a moment where it was happening. You're just like, wow, that's really what they're doing right now. And then he goes off to save Superman's mom, named Martha.
It's rough. It's really rough.
And there's no point in time where after he saves Superman's mom, where Superman's like, "Hey, is my mom okay?"
Yeah. It's like, it's tearing me up inside. But actually, we should probably just save everyone. I don't really care. Like, it's just it's a dumb movie.
It's really, really bad.
And not like that's dumb, like it's stupid. But like it's just like a dumb, like the thought process behind what went into it just feels dumb, you know? Just feels like they didn't think this through very
At all.
much.
They're just like kids with these. They're like kids in a sandbox with these characters with absolutely zero respect with like what they're playing with. It's almost like you give this kid like a fucking Academy Award golden statue to play with in a sandbox. No respect for it, but just like starts to jam it in the sand and like play with it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like what's happening. Is like there's just no respect or any zero understanding of the characters. There's zero fucking understanding of Superman.
Yeah.
Absolutely zero. Zack Snyder clearly doesn't like Superman, but he also doesn't understand the character at all.
Yeah. It's like, if you don't care, what makes you think we're gonna care?
Yeah. And we don't.
You're the one doing this. Like, you're supposed to make us care, man. You're supposed to make me feel stuff when I'm in here and I'm just feeling like hungry and want to leave. Like,
I just can't wait for this movie to be over.
yes. It's just really, it's a bummer. It sucks. It's like, it would have been really cool if there was an awesome movie with Batman and Superman in it. But Zack Snyder just is not good. And,
He's not.
It's just so on the nose. And, like, I feel like his directing is summed up in the opening scene where it's doing the whole, like, Batman's parents getting murdered. And it's just like...
Which, sorry to interrupt, but I don't think that was even necessary at all. We already know his origin story.
Oh,
Why do we have to see it again?
Why do we need to see this? No one cares. Like,
no one
everyone
cares.
knows. It's like, well, people aren't going to know that his mom's dead, and that's the biggest turning point in the movie. So we need to hammer it into people's skulls. But, like, the shot of the pistol in the mom's necklace, like, pearl necklace, and then when it fires, it breaks the necklace, and the pearls, they fall in slow motion, and they disperse all over the ground. And it's like, why are we focusing on this stupid necklace? It's just the most, it's like, everything's gotta be just so. But he's only thinking of, like, that one thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not
exactly
a metaphor, and it's not a microcosm of other things that are going on in the story. It's just something that's visually interesting that you just wanted in there, you know?
Yep. That's it. Because we'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
But it's completely unnecessary.
And it's just like, this doesn't happen. This is too perfect. This is too convenient. And that's the whole movie. And I feel like it's nicely summed up in that very just like popping a wheelie right on the nose of the popping of the pearl necklace by the gun.
Yep. You're so right, man. You're so right. So he has no respect for the character, so he decides to kill Superman, which, again, back to why do we care? And it's another example of, like, he clearly doesn't care about Superman. He clearly doesn't understand Superman. So he kills him. Oh, there he's dead. I don't care about him. How are we supposed to care about him? Yeah. And how does that set up everything else for the Justice League? You've already killed him. what's gonna like? There's no
Yeah.
more stakes. There's no
There's
more
none.
stakes.
It's like,
because
well, this is too dangerous to do. We're not gonna make it. It's like, well, send Superman in. He's died twice already. Like, he can make it through anything. Why is anyone scared? He can't die and can beat anyone. Like,
again, he's trying to fit in every classic DC comic storyline into one fucking movie.
yeah, and it's just convoluted.
It's not a vision at all. It's
Yeah.
just you trying to serve the fans in a very weird way of like having them literally only visually see these things in one thing, but it has there's no story, the writing is so bad, and there's no fucking heart to it at all.
There's none. It's just it's like, just make a dish, Zack Snyder. Just make one thing. Don't make like lasagna tacos. You know?
Yeah,
you don't have to
seriously.
make lasagna like
Yeah.
General Tao chicken tacos. You don't need
Make
to put
one
everything
dish.
in there. You can just make one thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It should have just been, because his inspiration was Dark Knight Rises, the 80s comic. Which, cool, do that. Just do that.
Yeah.
So he fights Superman. It's a Batman movie. He fights Superman, and he defeats Superman. That's it.
There
Done.
you go. Yeah.
Credits, Justice League intro at the end of the credits. Done.
Done. So
That's all you needed to do. Not bring Superman should die at the end of the Justice League movies.
yeah.
Like, because that's the ultimate stake, right? He's the all-powerful superhero.
Yeah,
He's
so
the
it's like,
most powerful.
when he
so if he's
dies-
already dead and the Justice League hasn't even happened yet, there's nothing left.
Yeah. How are these guys going to survive if Superman can't survive? The invincible guy.
Yeah. So well, I could go on and on. I'm sure there's things that I meant to bring up that I didn't bring up.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff that...
But I think we'll end it there if you're
Yeah, that's
you're all right with that. So yeah, we I think definitely agree on that. And you've also, for those that are listening, you've heard from someone who knows the stories, or at least a little bit from the comics, you know, and then someone who hasn't read them. We kind of have the same perspective. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's really not.
At all. What would you rate this movie?
I don't know. Is a 1 out of 5 too low?
No, it's not. I would give it 1.5. I'd give it a heavy 1.5, light 2. Only because, like, I like Batman.
Yeah,
and I like
no,
Superman.
Totally. Honestly,
That's it.
2's fair, because that's like, what is that, a 4 out of 10? It's like, you get a 40 on a test. It's not a great score, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I definitely didn't like the movie. There were things I liked about it, but you know, in the end, it's a messy movie, and
Yeah.
it is not a well-made movie.
Just like,
it's like
lighten up, you know? It's like,
lighten up.
We go to these movies to escape, you know? I don't want to watch this
Seriously.
fucking super serious. Like, there's already enough movies like that deal with actual things that are like matter, you know, or like actual like documentaries and stuff that are that serious, you know.
It's almost like as if you took like Batman and Robin and like Batman Forever and took out, like sucked out like with a vacuum all the silliness out of it.
Yeah, just
That's what
sucked
you're
it
left
all
with. Just shit.
up. Yeah, just a bunch of poop left over.
Very serious poop left over.
Get that on the box. Very serious poop. Quotes. Westport on Batman Superman.
Put that on the box.
Yeah.
Very serious
Very
poop.
serious poop.
That's what it is. So, yeah, I give it 1.5 to 2. 1.5 is really where I'm leaning.
I get you.
2 when I'm being generous.
Yeah, maybe I'd go to 1.5. I'll go to 1.5. 3 out of 10. Yeah.
Fair
They
enough.
finished the movie. That gets some points, you know?
Yeah.
And there is fun stuff about it, and I think, like, if you're... I mean, the Batman v Superman, it's alright, you know? It's a brutal fight. It's just not long enough, but, like, I don't know. I can see why people like it. It just is, it's too messy.
Yeah.
Too many things.
And to reiterate, you know, I get that people like this movie, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. My opinion didn't quite jive with me. I don't think it quite jived with you either, Zach.
Nope.
And but I'm passionate about this issue because I want it to work out. And these are things that, like, as a fanboy, I want it to be good. Mm-hmm. And there's just there's so much other ways. There's so many other ways that they could make this better, and I hope that they learn from their lesson in this movie, like, in the future, because they're. And the scary thing is, it's going to make money no matter what. It's already made money, and the studios are going to see that as a success. You know what I mean? And that's not the message to take away from this. The message is,
don't do stuff like this, guys, please.
Seriously, you have these characters in your grasp, and you're wielding them around like someone with no respect to them at all. There's no characterization. There's no development. There's no joy. Like, take this and make it fun and make it better. And I want Justice League to be good. And I hope Wonder Woman, which is going to come out next, is actually going to be good. I hope.
Yeah,
but,
fingers crossed.
We'll see. Currently, the current team they got going on, this is the vision they have for it. This dark, gritty, fucking joyless version of this world. And if it's going to just continue to be that way, I don't want to be a part of it because I don't care.
Isn't Ben Affleck writing and directing the next Batman movie?
Yes, he is.
That's pretty crazy. We'll see how that goes.
I feel like he is a pretty good director, so he might make something good. Just get Zack Snyder the fuck out of here.
Yeah, just give him the boot.
Like, all right, you set it up, get out of here, let everyone else take it over who actually cares about these things.
Let us, like, clean up the poop you smeared all over the walls.
Ugh. And it's like, when you have a Batman or a movie called Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, you know there's going to be an inherent amount of shit compared to it, you know? Mm-hmm. It's a terrible title.
It's a very bad title. Does not need to be that. Call it Dawn of Justice. Call it Batman v Superman. Call it just something else. Something that's not a non-title.
Like I said, just do Dark Knight Returns, that comic where Batman fights Superman.
Totally.
Which is where this was inspired, but that's the main storyline was inspired from that comic. Just do that. Call it Dark Knight Returns. Awesome. Make it a Batman movie. Superman makes an appearance. They fight. He defeats him. Done. That's it. Now you've introduced Batman into the Superman Man of Steel world, and you set up the rest of the comic or the rest of the characters in individual movies like Marvel did.
Yeah, because it already treats it like you know it. So why even have it? The opening credits where it's like, this is the origin story. It plays it like you know, because if you didn't know, you'd just be like, all right, why is
what's happening? Yeah, you already know.
You already know. It's like Alfred. You already know. You know, you already know that that's him as soon as you see him. Mm-hmm. So, like, why have all this stuff? Why pretend like you don't?
Yeah,
I don't
know. But also in times where they are completely reliant on the fact that you already know.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just this weird in-between where it just seems like they have no idea what they're doing.
Oh, my God. None. Anyway.
This is a long one, but much needed, I guess.
This was a very long one, but hey, I did enjoy this discussion. I've been looking forward to talking to you about it, and it's a big movie for the year, and I'm very curious to see how this will compare to Civil War.
Yeah,
Captain America: Civil War.
It seems like it's a very similar style of movie. At least in terms of, like, combining
of
franchises, but not being the ultimate, like, everyone,
right?
Avengers 3 thing.
Exactly, kind of bringing all these characters together, but also having them fight each other, with two different ideologies. And I can guarantee you, and any amount of money, that that Civil War will be more successful showing these two different ideologies, because in Batman v Superman, they're the same.
Yeah, it's just, it's nothing.
It's nothing. There's no substance at all.
No.
So, anyway, good discussion.
Good discussion.
Glad we had it. Glad I went to go see it, even though I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
And, all right, so next time we're going to review Everybody Wants Some, the new film by, what's his name?
Richard Linklater.
Yeah, Richard Linklater. Thank you. So that'll be a good one. And that should be definitely coming to Orlando, so we won't have to worry about.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty wide release.
Should be a wide release. Side note, Midnight Special is finally coming to Orlando.
Oh, nice. You gonna go check it out?
Nationwide later this month. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I do want to check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth seeing. It was good. I liked it a lot.
So when I do check it out, we'll have a good little discussion on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool, man. So final thoughts on the beer. I enjoyed it.
I really liked it. Feeling nice after this long discussion.
Yeah.
Nice, winey beer. What was the percentage on this?
I didn't see it on the bottle.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it anywhere. Just curious, 8%.
Oh, yep, 8%.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I don't know how often I would get it, but it's definitely it's an interesting wine beer hybrid, I would say.
Yeah, I like it. I don't think we've ever had anything quite like this on the show.
Definitely.
Either. So good pick, Zach.
Thank you.
And I'm still blown away since 1654. Like, what?
It's a long time.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
But anyway, so next week we'll review Everybody Wants Some. And as always, you guys can email us at listentousrantaboutmovies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at LTURAM podcast. And we'd love to hear from you guys. And also subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, and you can listen. You're probably listening on YouTube or one of those already. So, yeah, give us a shout out, share it to your friends, and until next time, Zach.
Until next time.